reach for this one.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back online,
Just turn it on, kind of. That took a very PG direction.
along comes this hit show.
I'm constantly burping on stage.
Hey, you heard about Madonna, right?
Twin Cities hit show with Rusty, Courtney, and Chuck.
Had she fallen to the ground and her eyes rolled into the back of her head, what would you, Tim Mahoney, have done?
I'd have tried to make out with her.
Nice.
Get in line.
The Twin Cities hit show with Rusty, Courtney, and Chuck airs live daily, 9:30 to 10:30 on the Alive and Social Network.
Ever swallowed a bug or choke like Courtney on stage?
Yeah. I meant to do this.
With Suhan Unfiltered, sports columnist for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Jim Suhan presents in-depth conversations with the best writers and sports personalities in the area. Suhan brings professional journalism flavor without the verbal censoring. Find out what unfiltered really means. Only on the Alive and Social Network. SuhanUnfiltered.com.
Remember the weight of the world, it's a sound that we used to buy.
Did you hear?
We're back.
Did you hear? Is it Brett Michael? No. What's his name? Britt Daniel.
You're really struggling with the names tonight.
I'm really bad.
You're really not that bad, though. Not normally.
No, it's just today, I think. But Britt Daniel. That is the lead singer of Spoon. That was who we just came back to there. He was on. He was on WTF recently.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to every episode, and sometimes the people just blend in.
Sure. It was an interesting interview because there was no fun to it. Like talking about his music and his life, and it sounded like real business and work for him. I didn't know if that was just that interview, but a buddy of mine has heard him do other interviews
Maybe that's
too. And he
why
said that's
I
just
don't
how he
remember
is.
it.
Yeah. It was not an interview that's going to stick out to you much, but I mean, interesting guy, but it just didn't seem like he was enjoying himself at all. And you'd think sitting down with Mark Maron, you would be able to enjoy yourself.
Hey, do you want to go to Mark Maron?
Yes.
If there's still tickets available?
Yes.
He'll be here like June 7th or something.
Where's that?
The Orpheum.
Yeah.
I was
that'd
thinking
be
about
awesome.
getting a couple tickets, or the Pantages. I was thinking about getting a couple of tickets, but I was like, who would want to go with me? Jason.
He pretty much always just riffs, doesn't he? When he does stand up?
I don't know.
I don't think he does a lot of writing. I think he even talks about it on stage, how he's just kind of going with it. But maybe I'm thinking of one particular stand-up. But
I don't know. He's such an interesting guy. I'll see if there's
Such an
tickets
interesting
tomorrow, and if there are, I'll grab a couple of them.
do you
As
have
long
that,
as they're not like $100. Like what would be like the max that you would pay?
to see him? Yeah, it would no more than 100. I mean,
Like-
I would not mind paying 50 to see Maron, of course,
Okay,
but I'd imagine
I'll
it's
check.
going to cost more than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, gosh, we have a couple of things. We could do that. I think we should talk to Jerry. I think we should get Jerry on next week.
I think we
let's
should
not,
get Jerry on
Let's
too.
not blow our wad, which I hate that term, but let's not blow our wad on the
Or as
Jerry
my
stuff.
mom said in the
Jesus,
car
that was
once,
messed up.
overshot her wad. And I was like, Mom, no. You can't. No. And she started laughing because she realized what the phrase that she used by mistake. I was like, no, Mother, you just passed the street. That's all you're allowed to say.
That is so gross. You can mom,
Shout out to my mom and Bill
never say.
for taking me to the Wild game tomorrow. And they're
Nice.
like in the middle of their 14-hour drive back from Arizona today. I mean, the drive takes like 2 or 3 days, but they're in their longest day today. It's a 14 hours.
Jeez, that's a trip.
So when I talked to them this afternoon at like I don't know, 1 or something, they were in like bumfuck Kansas, like southwestern Kansas.
Jeez, I've never done that drive. That all the way to.
Hell no.
Well, I've never done the straight south one. I've done the from here to Florida drive, which is horrible. But
That's
I've never
bad.
done the straight down to like Arizona, Texas, or anything.
They do it twice a year, and I might do it 1 year just to like take their car down for them, and then they can drive with a friend or whatever and do a road trip. But man, but the plane tickets are so cheap to Arizona. I can like frequently get them for under 300, like 300 even. So it's like, why am I wasting my time? It's like Chicago. When people drive to Chicago, I'm like, oh, just take a plane and there's $60 fucking on Spirit.
See, I have flown to Chicago, and I felt like
I've done it all to Chicago.
It's not
but
the driving there. I think is easier.
it's a
There's
really
so much
easy drive.
bullshit involved with flying.
I shouldn't say it's a hard drive, but then if you don't know the exact place that you're going to park, then you better just fucking forget it and get on a plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's not a bad drive, especially with your friends. It's like a 7-hour road trip or whatever. But
No, you're better off
but it's,
just renting
it's
a car
under
there
$100 to fly there, and I get there, an hour early, 45 minutes early on the light rail, jump on the plane, get to Chicago, take the L right to my friend's place. It's just like, whatever.
Speaking of rail, why can't we get some high-speed fucking trains in this country? How awesome would that
Because
be?
they're expensive and Republicans hate them. Come on. You know that.
Well,
But wouldn't it be nice?
but
I just spent $400 to get out to San Francisco on a fucking airplane. $430.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
But the trains are expensive too. The trains that we have now. But that's why
Yeah, the
give me
trains
a
are
bullet train and
pricey.
figure out how to do that. There's got to be a way to do that cheaper. Boy, we're all over the map now.
All right.
I don't even know how to talk about the John Oliver thing unless you want to do that. But we have to at least mention how awesome Game of Thrones is getting. Since only
Wait,
because
I
it's
thought
taking
you were
me
gonna
HBO. That's just me HBO. That's all.
Game of Thrones is fucking awesome on
It is
Sunday.
getting good.
Mad Men was fucking incredible. Again, I won't go into any more spiels about it because I already had my spiel. But damn, that show is really worth watching from the beginning to the end. Mad Men.
Yep. And when is that done now?
It's done in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It has
okay.
2 more episodes. And I'm starting to get that gut feeling of sadness for it.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't want this to be over. You know, some TV shows, they've been on for a long time, and you're like, this is going to be sad.
You ready for it though? Sometimes.
Honestly, with Breaking Bad, I was like, I just want to see what happens with the characters, and I'm kind of ready for it to be done.
Yep.
I love this show. Mad Men, I don't know.
You could see that one just going on and on.
You don't know, for a while longer. But it has to end.
Unfortunately, they all do. Quick on-air production meeting too. Actually, I'm going to Tame Impala Wednesday next week, so we won't be doing a show next Wednesday. So that's for you, the listeners, to know too. So we'll figure out a night or two next week that we can do a couple of shows. But I don't know. Go watch John Oliver. The fucking.
How much time do we have left?
We have enough. You want to
Oh.
play the standardized testing? thing?
Okay, and this is what I love about John Oliver and HBO in general. Besides the fact that it just gives a really unique programming, John Oliver always exposes things that no one knows about that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody,
Or
not
that
nobody.
People probably aren't thinking about.
They're
much.
not
Yeah.
thinking about it, but it's really fucking important. Like the things that he brings up are super important and not on the news as we speak, not the headline news, which I think is awesome. So this week it's standardized testing and how fucked up standardized testing is. From Bush with No Child Left Behind to Obama with Common Core. I mean, the education system in America is fucked. And my friends that are teachers, they have the hardest time with this all the time. So John Oliver, here, we'll play this clip.
Just real quick, Kennedy wrote the No Child Left Behind bill, didn't he? Kennedy?
No,
Yes. Or he wrote one of Bush's big bills.
I don't know. I thought that was, I don't know.
Okay, just throw that out there because just because it's a bipartisan thing. That is not. You can't say that it's
Well,
conservative or liberal.
I mean,
it's just both sides are fucking that up.
One
whole
of the
education
best
thing.
things that John Oliver said in this 17-minute clip that is worth watching all 17 minutes of was absolutely it was bipartisan because it sounds great.
Yeah, how do you
No
argue with No Child
Left Behind? No,
Yeah.
I'm going to vote against that.
Or Affordable Care Act for that matter. I mean, they're
Sure.
both just they're supposed to
But
sound
at least there's
like
something liberal about universal health care. Like that has a liberal tie to it. Just reforming education system, no one really knows how to do it yet. No one knows what the answers are. And everyone is so far removed from the day-to-day lives of teachers and educators that they don't know how to fix it.
That's
And
why
so-
I hated even being touched at a federal level, but that's an issue for another day.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay, so standardized testing.
Standardized testing. So this is just one of the things that John Oliver brought up in his clip. We'll play 1 minute of it.
Pearson and dropped out, well, she'd have to take the GED, which is now, guess what, also a Pearson test. In fact, the only test they have no hand in is the HPV test she might take in college, and I can only assume that they'll get on that as soon as they see this fucking show. Pearson has enjoyed spectacular growth and profit, and yet their track record is littered with complaints concerning technical glitches, slow grading, and even the contents of their tests. Take what happened in New York just a few years ago.
Almost 30 different test questions have now been declared invalid because they're confusing or have outright errors. They'd already pulled 6 questions from an English exam related to a bizarre passage about a talking pineapple.
A talking pineapple? Well, at the risk of sounding like a DreamWorks executive talking to a CGI animator, tell me more about this talking pineapple.
Students had to answer questions about the story, which they say goes like this. A pineapple challenges a hare to a race. Other animals figure the fruit has a trick up its sleeve, but the hare wins and the animals eat the pineapple. It ends with the moral. Pineapples don't have sleeves.
I was really confused because I expected a lot more from them. That article about the pineapple and the hare was stupid and absurd.
Yeah, she's not wrong about that, because we looked up that test section and we couldn't work out all the answers.
Oh my God.
And so again, so for those that haven't seen this, just for a real quick kind of recap, because we started these standardized testing with No Child Left Behind.
Standardized testing has been around for a long time. It's just since Bush, it's become much more. There's been tens added on every year. And by tens, I mean like it's gone from they take 5 a year to they take like 40 or something insane like that.
It's become like the only way to judge not only the student but the teachers too. Like this is the way they're using to judge teachers.
Right.
Which again, the way this was portrayed too at the time. I mean, I remember talking about this on the radio back in the day, and this was. I mean, the idea sounded good. It was we have failing schools, so we're going to test that they're getting these kids educated, and this is how we'll test it. Now that all sounds good on paper, but it doesn't work.
Well, and then the schools that aren't doing well on the tests, what do? We like take away funding because they're not doing well. It's like,
or we just make them focus on the test and nothing else, which also does no good. But then what?
Reprimand the teachers for their students not performing well. You know, there could be plenty of factors
There's
why their
usually a lot of
students
other
aren't performing well.
And he was mentioning Pearson's in the clip. That's just one of the companies that are printing these tests.
These
huge
only
corporations.
Company.
And I believe, to quote me, or if you remember if I'm wrong about this, I think that they make something like 10 times more than the NFL does per year.
I don't know.
Just printing these tests and creating these tests.
They do everything from the GED to, I don't know if they do ACTs and SATs, but I know they do every standardized test that you would take in the country.
And it sounds like to me there's not a whole lot of teachers or just educators involved. Like it's become a business of creating tests.
Yeah.
So who? And I think his line too was, "No, this is the every child left behind." Like that's what this is. That's what you've created. And and this is where I always hate corruption in government, because this has just become another place to throw money. And now corporations are making out like bats out of they're doing well out of this, and the kids are all still fucked and not learning anything. And I think that we have to really revamp our entire way of looking at education in this country. And
we do.
Even just down to I think we even talked about this too, with maybe with like offices and stuff, but just walking classrooms. I've heard a lot of studies about just take your class outside, walk around, and the teacher still teaches, but you're walking around. And the kids, just because they're moving, can pay more attention because they're getting that energy out of it. Like just that. I mean, that's one thing where that never happened in my entire life in my education. Why not try that and try a bunch of other
hands-on things?
Yeah, and do a bunch more studies,
hands-on.
Figure out what we can do to make education better for these kids. I've got nothing else. You have anything else you want to throw out there tonight?
I'm tired. This
sangria has kicked Molly's
ass.
ass.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Well, you'd better. All right. Well, that's it for tonight. Like we said, we'll be back next week. We don't know what night, but we'll talk to you then.
See ya.
Bye.